Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be introducing you guys to a game called Scavenger, which I think is really cool. But before we get into this game, a little bit of backstory. The game was made in 2014 by Daniel Fedor. He used to work for BioWare, but in 2011 he left and created his own game company, Blue Bottle Games, which then began production of Scavenger. Now, into the game. The game has a very interesting world, which is mixed with sci-fi and folklore, with creatures that are based from folklore in Michigan and all over, roving in the map. And also, it has a very interesting mix of sci-fi, as there's a lot of highly advanced technology in the game that you can come across. The game's story is based on the main character which you play as, which is Philip Kindred. And basically the game's story is you, as Philip Kindred, having amnesia and having to really find who you are before the apocalypse, and really piece together your identity. The game is very, very similar to old school pen and paper RPG games, with, in the beginning of the game, you basically pick out your skills, and it has a very interesting system where you can pick your skills, and also give your character flaws, which in exchange can give you more skills, which is a very effective system for character building. It's very similar to the classic Fallout games and how you would build your character with traits and skill points and stuff like that, but I'd have to say for Scavenger it's a lot more simplified. The game also has a very interesting combat system, which is turn-based, much like the original Fallout games again. And basically in this, you can decide your moves and what you're going to do, and in this combat, it's highly dependent on where you are and where combat happens. Like if you're fighting in a forest, you might trip over a lot and it might be harder to hit your enemy, or if you're on a hill, you could fall over and take a lot more damage from that. And also it's very basically decided on what weapon you have. Like if you have a machine gun and your enemy is running at you with a stick, you're probably gonna kill them, unless you're in a forest or something and you trip over, and they might get your gun. There's a lot of factors into the combat system, and it basically makes a turn-based system like Fallout and Fallout 2 much more interesting and in-depth, but also still very simple. The game is also a very hardcore survival game, and if you die in Scavenger, it automatically deletes your save, so you can't just go back to that game. And it's very punishing to new players and if you don't know how to play, because you'll probably have hundreds of playthroughs where you just die and die over and over again. But a cool thing about that is the game is RNG, and you will always have a different playthrough whenever you play this game. You might find a rocket launcher at the beginning of the game, you might find a gun at the beginning of the game. There's just so many things that can happen, and every playthrough of this game is different. And one thing that is very similar in every playthrough though is the skills you pick at the start. The skills you pick at the start very much decide how you're going to play the game, and it's pretty cool to see how different playthroughs and playstyles decide how you survive and stuff like that. And it's really cool to see that one bit stick with every time you play the game. Despite essentially being a modern version of the classic Fallout games, it also adds a incredibly realistic survival aspect in the game, where you have to eat, sleep, and protect yourself from getting killed or your stuff stolen from enemies. Seriously, the survival in this game is really realistic. It's almost punishingly realistic. And finding food and trying to get water in this game really feels like you're a homeless man trying to survive in the forest or the city or something. It's so realistic and awesome, and it's really cool. The game also has a ton of weapon variety. Like, you could be running at your enemy at like the start of the game with a shard of glass, and maybe many days later you could start running at your enemy with a fully loaded shotgun or a machine gun or something like that. The game has a ton of weapon choice. Another thing that really complements that is the crafting system. There are hundreds of things you can craft in this game. There are almost maybe thousands of things you can craft in this game, and a lot of it is decided by what skills you choose at the start, which really allows you to experiment and mess with different playstyles. And also, it allows you to really mess around and explore crafting stuff and potentials like that. And that's really cool. Along with that, there are hundreds of items in this game, literally thousands of items, that will impact your character's journey and survival in the game. You might have to hunt down an animal to eat it and get its food to wear so you don't freeze to death. And there might be a weapon that's too heavy for you to carry and you might need to drop some things. There is a lot of things that impact survival in this game, and it's just so good to just get into it and really have to think about your next move and how you're going to survive. It's really awesome. In fact, I might be making a guide on how to survive in this game, because there is just so much to surviving in this game and crafting. There is a lot to it, and early game players will probably die a lot before getting the game, but it's really awesome once you know how to play and survive, and it leads to a lot of interesting and fun gameplay. Another thing I want to talk about this game, and that isn't really such a good part about the game, is that there is a lot of missed potential and a lot of things that could have been better about the game. And one thing that really fixes that is mods. This game has a ton of really cool mods that really make the survival of this game much more flavorful, I think is the word I'm looking for, and much more in-depth. And it also adds a lot more items to the game that would make your survival more interesting and stuff like that. And also it adds new enemies and stuff, and more things that really fit the Michigan ecosystem and stuff like that. Just, there's a ton of mods out there for this game that make the game much more interesting and stuff like that. And I'd have to say the game has a lot of missed potential with the stuff that's in it, and there could have just been more, and I'm happy that there's mods that add that. The game also has a very vibing soundtrack, which is specially made to fit whatever situations you're in, and also made to make you feel alone and isolated in the wasteland that is now Michigan. It's also really good to vibe to when you're beating someone's head in. And yeah, that's kind of all I've wanted to say on Scavenger for now. As you may know, this game is really special to me, and I've been playing it for a long time now. And I'm pretty glad to be making these videos on it in my more modern style of videos. And if you guys have watched the older videos I've made on this game, it's no secret that they aren't very good, and I'm very happy to be making these modern videos on it in my more modern style. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm quite sorry for disappearing for 3 weeks. I've been busy with a lot of stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping to get back in the grind and making videos. Hopefully I don't disappear again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys check out this game on Steam or wherever you can get it. It's really cool. It's an awesome game if you like survival games and games similar to Fallout 1 and 2 and stuff like that, RPGs and stuff. And yeah, I hope you check it out. It's $15 on Steam. I don't know if there's a summer sale going on or if the game's at a discount, but either way, you should get it. It's really cool. And yeah, I will see you in the next epic video. Alright, bye.